Hello everyone and welcome to our modelled writing videos. So in these videos we are going to look at two task 1 questions for this video. So task 1 in the IELTS exam is you have 20 minutes and you're expected to write a minimum of 150 words. So what we'll do today is we will look at a task together and then we'll put together a plan with our ideas and then we'll do the write-up as if we were in the exam. And along the way I'll give you tips on structure and how to make sure that you're ticking the boxes and help you get to those high band scores. So that's what we'll do in these videos, and this is great practice for you if you say booked your IELTS exam or you just want a bit more information about the writing side of IELTS. We have task 1 videos like we're doing today. We also have task 2 videos, which are the longer essay style questions. So these are all here to help you along with your preparation journey. All right then, so let's get started with our first task of the day, and that will be looking at a bar chart. A bar chart. Now, this is a common type of chart that may come up in the exam. It may be on its own, like this one today, no plurals. There might be more than one bar chart, or sometimes they're with other different types of charts. So good to be aware of them and comfortable with them for any case that might come up. All right, so the question itself. The bar chart below illustrates 5 different industries' percentage share of Brazil's economy in 2009 and 2019 with a forecast for 2029. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Okay then, so we are being told how to answer this question. We need to select and report the main features. So not every single feature. We are just going to look at the most striking or important ones. And we're also going to make comparisons, again, where relevant. So in other words, where they are particularly large differences or maybe important differences. So as with the reporting and selecting, the comparisons, we're not comparing absolutely everything. We're being selective, which is a very important skill for the IELTS task 1. Alrighty, so what are we actually looking at? Let's have a think about the question a bit more. So the bar chart will show different industries and their percentage share of Brazil's economy. So in other words, how much do they take up of Brazil's overall economy in 2009, 19, and a future year? So we'll bear that in mind when we're thinking about tense for writing. Okay, so let's bring in the bar chart itself. Here we go. On the x-axis here, we have the industries. We have finance, food processing, manufacturing, tourism, oil, coal and gas, sorry. Okay, and then on the y-axis, we have the percentage. So it goes from 0 to 45%. And then the different coloured bars here refer to the different years. So blue for 2009, orange 2019, and then the future year in grey. All right, so initial thoughts then. Wow, finance is really taking a big share for all years. On the other hand, manufacturing is almost following the opposite course in terms of it's decreasing, and instead of it's actually, yes, instead of finance going up in 2029, manufacturing is going down, and predicted for 2029. Okay, and then we have tourism, oil and gas, sort of similar ballparks here, food processing. Alrighty. So we've had to think about the graph itself, the bar charts. And now it's time for our plan. So a big part of task one, and something you'll be assessed on, is your ability to group this information together. So we want to make two logical, clear, distinct groups that are going to show the examiner that we can almost link up information and parts of the chart, and do that in a logical way. Alrighty then, so what we could do the years. We could join up 2009 and 19 maybe, and the future year perhaps, and then talk about use the future tense for this group. Or we could potentially group up some of the industries themselves. So perhaps we could do finance and oil, coal and gas, and tourism, because they are all higher than say 20% of the share. And then we could look at food processing and manufacturing, because they are mostly under 20%, perhaps. Yeah, let's go for that one. I'll show you how you can do that today. So let's go finance, oil, coal and gas, and tourism over 20%. So these are just our notes, but so you don't have to worry about doing full sentences here. But obviously, this is going to help you in the exam, so you want them to be clear to you. Make sure that you understand your notes. Okay, and then what do we have left? We have food processing and manufacturing. Okay, so we have our groups, and let's do mostly under 20%. There we go. Our overview then. Now this is really important, and this is a big part of task one. We want to make a sweeping statement to basically summarize what we're viewing here. So we could talk about finance. Finance is and will be finance was and will be the largest proportion of Brazil's economy. That's okay. We're going out of the box here. Not a problem. We'll just move that up. Okay, so we could talk about finance in the overview. We could also mention perhaps manufacturing or something else if we want to, but really this is just a sweeping statement to summarize what we're seeing in front of us. So we don't have to worry about it being too long. We can make it quite short. All right, so once the plan is done, we can go to our write-up. So we have the question here, and we also have some lovely words that we can use which really help us put our point across. So we have verbs and different synonyms for words like decreased, increased, stayed the same. And when you pair them with adverbs, they create really nice sentences and structures that will help you talk about what we're seeing here in an effective, succinct way. So you won't have this in the exam, unfortunately, but that is here to help us with our write-up today. Okay then, so you might be thinking, well, what do we need to do to start our essay? Good question. We need to paraphrase the first sentence here. In other words, the bar chart below illustrates 5 different industries' percentage share of Brazil's economy in 2009 and 19 with a forecast for 2029. Okay, so we don't need to paraphrase every single word because we want to keep the meaning, but we want to paraphrase where we can. So it's hard to paraphrase the bar chart, so we'll keep that in. The bar chart below illustrates, the bar chart displays various sectors, industries, and the share they take of Brazil's financial economy is a hard one to paraphrase. Brazil's we'll keep it in for now. Maybe we'll change it at some point. Economy in the years 2009, 2019, and also a future prediction for 2029. The bar chart displays various sectors and the share they take of Brazil's economy, or Brazil's, we could say maybe, finances. In the years 2009, 2019, and also a future prediction for 2029. Okay, so we've paraphrased. Now what do we have to do? Well, we put in our overview now in a separate paragraph. So an overview, is nice to begin with a sweeping statement or a phrase such as on the whole. We can use in general because we're just being very we're generalizing here. That's the whole point of our overview. In general, finance was the largest was and will be the largest proportion of the economy for all years compared with the other business areas. Let's read this back. In general, finance was and will be the largest proportion of the economy for all years compared with the other business areas. Okay, there we go. So you'll notice in our overview, we're not using specific information. We are just saying a general overview from what we can see. So the groups is where you can really dive in and take the relevant and important main features from here and use that in your essay, and that's what I'm going to show you now. Okay, so group one, it was over 20%. So let's just show the examiner, okay, this is how we're grouping it. So we can say 3. As long as we can say the words from the questions here and there, as long as we're not repeating ourselves too much, then that's the most important thing. 3 industries consistently were over and will be over. We're always including that future prediction. 20% of the total. 3 industries consistently were over and will be over 20% of the total. Okay, so let's talk about, we've mentioned finance, so let's stick with that because that is a dramatic section of the bar chart. Finance is the we could talk about this dramatic increase. Finance was strikingly, or finances percentage was strikingly higher than every other industry. We've used industry, every other maybe venture. And let's talk about the future. And in 2029, this was higher than every other venture and increasing each year, or increasing every 10 years, because we're talking about the difference in the years here. In 2029, this figure will stand at, we have a gap of 5, so 41, 42, maybe 42% or 41%. 42. Okay, so we've addressed finance. Now let's pick a few other points for this group. So we have oil and gas and tourism as well. Let's talk about oil, coal and gas and the year 2009. Oil, coal and gas also saw the largest saw the most, or oil, coal and gas saw the most financially successful year in 2019. And let's do 31%. 31%. Okay, and then we could talk about tourism and how it's at 21, and this doesn't look to change in the future. Tourism for all years is just above 20%. In 2019, this figure stood at 21%, and we can use this word plateaued, which means stayed the same. This is a tricky spelling here, plateaued. For 2029. 2029. Okay, let's read this back. 3 industries consistently were over and will be over 20% of the total. Finance's percentage was strikingly higher than every other venture, so we're comparing, and increasing every 10 years. In 2029, this figure will stand at 42%. Oil, coal and gas saw the most financially successful year in 2019, 31%. Tourism for all years is just above 20%. In 2019, this figure stood at 21% and plateaued for 2029. So you can see that we are stating figures, but we don't always have to put the percentage. We can talk about them in other ways, which is quite nice as well. So we're mixing that up a bit, different sentence structures. Okay then, so the next two groups, food processing and manufacturing. The other two parts of the economy were, now they weren't always under 20%, but we could say were mostly under two parts of the economy, and their share was mostly under 20%. So we're sort of grouping them together here and telling the examiner this is how we're going to put them together. So let's just pull a few details from let's start with food processing and their successful year in 2019. The highest figure or number for food processing was in the year 2019, and I like a brackets, we can do 21%. And let's do manufacturing, or maybe we could just touch upon the other 2 years. Other 2 years. Or 2009 and 2029 stand and will be the same figure. We have just over 10% there, I would say, just over 10%. On the other hand, so now we're comparing. On the other hand, manufacturing saw 21% in the year 2009 and witnessed and will see a rapid drop in percentage by the year 2029, and let's do another bracket that falls to 5%. Okay, let's read this back. The other two parts of the economy and their share was mostly under 20%. The highest number for food processing was the year 2019, 21%. 2009 and 2029 stand or stood, we're always checking the tense here, stood and will be the same figure, just over 10%. On the other hand, manufacturing saw 21% in the year 2009 and witnessed and will see a rapid drop in percentage by the year 2029. Let's remove that, it's a bit confusing. There we go. Okay then, so let's count the words. For this, we're looking for a minimum of 150. All right, so that comes to 176 words. So a bit over the 150 minimum, but there is no upper limit. So you can, if you're a fast writer or typer, then you have that time and you can write as much as you can, really. I would say As long as you're answering the question and you're not commenting on everything, then you're welcome to write more if you can. Okay, so that was our first task, all about this bar chart regarding Brazil's economy. Okay. So let's go to the next task, which is going to look at pie charts. And this S here shows us that, okay, there might be more than one for this. The pie charts below show the devices people in the 18 to 25 age group use to watch television in Canada in 2 different years. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Okay then, so we have the same instructions. We want to select and report the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Just like the last one, we're not going to pick on everything. We're just going to take the striking pieces of information and report them back. And notice that we're not commenting on why things are happening in task 1. That's not the question. Opinions are not required. It's just reporting back. Okay, so we're looking at the devices people use to watch television. So maybe smartphones and tablets in 2 different years. Let's have a look. Right, here we go. So pie charts, then we have 2, and the years are 2009 here and 2019 on the right. And down here we have the key to show us the different devices. So mobile phone, laptop, tablet, desktop computer, flat screen TV, conventional TV. Right then, so initial thoughts. Wow, initially I am looking at conventional TV. That is the most dramatic drop out of any device. Then we have a few increases. Flat screen TV increases a lot by 2019. Another increase, we have tablets. Okay, so a variety of information here that we are now thinking about how we're going to report this back in the essay. So, of course, we need to group this together. Now we could go for, let's have a think, we could do one pie chart in one group and perhaps another pie chart, the other pie chart in the next group. Or we could maybe do a different approach and talk about devices that have decreased. So for example, we have a conventional TV and we have another decrease, laptop. Is there another decrease? Desktop computer. Okay, so that seems like a nice group. And then we have, oh, have I missed one? Laptop? We can always add to them. And then increase, we have mobile phone. We have flat screen TV. And we also have mobile phone, increase, flat screen TV, increase. Oh, and actually we have, sorry, I think I forgot the tablets here as well with the increase. Okay, so let's write these down, make notes. So group one, we have ones that have decreased over the 10 years. Conventional TV. We have laptop. And we have desktop, computer, and then areas which increased, mobile phone, and we have flat screen TV, and the last one, tablets. Okay, so the overview then. The most striking information here is probably the decrease in conventional TV. So in general, conventional TV saw the biggest drop in usage over the 10 years. That's what we'll talk about. Okay, we'll make that fit in there. There we go. So you can see how we've grouped them together. Yes, we could have done one pie chart and then the next. However, there were trends that we saw, like areas which decreased in usage and then increased. So we've gone with that today. Okay then, so I think we're ready for our write-up. We've got our question, we've got some useful vocabulary, and we've got the pie charts themselves. So what do we need to do first? Well, as always, we need to paraphrase this sentence here. The pie charts below show the devices people in the 18 to 25 age group use to watch television in Canada in 2 different years. It's hard to paraphrase pie charts, so let's stick with that. The pie charts illustrate the usage of different ways in which individuals or individuals watch TV. We could say maybe media. In the 18 to 25 age bracket in Canada. In 2009 and 2019. Let's read that back because it might sound a bit wordy. The pie charts illustrate the usage of different ways in which individuals watch media in the 18 to 25 age brackets. Let's do commas there actually, just to separate that. In Canada in 2019 and 2019. Okay, so we've paraphrased. Now what do we need to do? We need to go into our overview and we can say something like, on the whole, quite a nice way to open this up. On the whole, conventional TV saw the biggest drop in use over the 10 years. And then we could say maybe flat screen TV saw the biggest increase, whereas flat screen TV saw or witnessed, that's a good way of to not repeat ourselves, witnessed the most significant significant rise. So again, we're not putting in numbers and statistics. We're leaving that for the groups, which we're going to go into now. So let's talk about, yes, the devices that decreased. Three we can use devices. Three devices fell in statistics from fell in statistics when, or fell in, let's say percentage when researched in 2019 compared with 2009. So of course, let's talk about conventional TV. Conventional TV dropped by 30%, only having a 4% share in 2019. Okay. And what about we have then laptop? That saw a drop as well. In 2009, laptops consisted of 1/5, 20%. So we're saying it in different ways. 1/5 of the total. On the other hand, in 2019, they were closer to 1/10. And then brackets, I like a bracket, 12%. So we're just creating variety in the way that we're relaying the information. Desktop computer was the last grouping here. So desktop computers did not see as, we can compare them now to the other two, did not see as much of a rapid fall as the other two groups. Nevertheless, there was still a 6% drop. Okay, let's read this back. 3 devices fell in percentage when researched in 2019 compared with 2009. Conventional TV dropped by 30%, only having a 4% share in 2019. In 2009, laptops consisted of 1/5 of the total. On the other hand, in 2019, they were closer to 1/10, 12%. Desktop computers did not see as much of a rapid fall as the other two groups. Nevertheless, there was still a 6% drop. Okay, so we're being careful not to report on absolutely everything, just the main parts here. So we're not always being specific, but we can just mention the difference maybe with things. So, okay, let's go to the next group. And we're going to compare, however, the other areas saw an uptake in the amount of people watching TV this way. Okay, so what saw the biggest increase? Definitely flat screen TV Without a doubt, flat screen TV. Saw the biggest or saw the most dramatic surge 2019, rising to 27%. Oh, percent. There we go. Okay, and then what do we have next? We have mobiles and tablets. So tablets are 14% rise. Mobiles is 11. So maybe we could talk about that. Another area which saw an increase of usage was mobile phones. Ten years after 2009, they they had over 1/4 of the total share. And let's do another bracket, 26%. Okay, and so sometimes we're not saying the original percentage, but we're saying the difference or the later percentage, so we're not reporting on everything. Okay, and the last one, tablets then, they started at 5%. So tablets, in fact, took the smallest share in 2009 out of any device. However, we've used however. But in 2019, they were close to 1/5 again. 19%. Okay, let's read this back. However, the other areas saw an uptake in the amount of people watching TV this way. Without a doubt, flat screen TV saw the most dramatic surge in 2019, rising to 27%. Another area which, very important to check and edit, which saw an increase of usage was mobile phones. 10 years after 2009, another way of saying 2019, they had over 1/4 of the total share, 26%. Tablets, in fact, took the smallest share in 2019 out of any device. 2009 out of any device. But in 2019, they were close to 1/5, 19%. Okay then, so you can see how we have tried not to repeat ourselves. We've tried not to, you can fall into a trap here of stating every statistic and number, but we're being careful not to do that, and we're saying things in a bit of a creative way as to not repeat ourselves. So let's check the word count for this one. Okay, so that brings us to 199 words, so a bit over the 150 minimum there, but you can see how we've structured it today with our paraphrasing, overview, group 1, group 2. So depending how much you can do in the time, then at least you've got the structure, and this is a really strong way to answer the question for task 1. All right, well, thank you so much for coming along to our video, and we'd love to hear from you. So if you've got any questions or any comments, then let us know. I hope this has been helpful, and we'll see you next time.